Hi, I'm Susan Marrett from Succeed at Selling, and welcome to day one of your 9-day sales challenge. Now, before I go any further, grab yourself a pen and paper, because by actually making notes on what we're going to talk about, you will find it a lot easier to take the information on board, and you'll also have a record of what we've discussed. So while you're doing that, I'm just going to explain what we're going to do over the next 9 days. Because there's 3 things really you need to know in order to sell a lot more successfully. First of all, you need to know how to sell. So for the first few days, we're going to be delving quite deep into how to sell and all 7 steps of the sales process. The second thing that you need to have in order to sell is confidence. And we've got a special day all about that and some tips and techniques that I use to help me come across as being a lot more confident than sometimes I often have felt. And then we're also going to talk about the third thing, which is about being accountable to yourself and your business. It's so very easy to procrastinate about selling and going out there and making it happen. But there are some great tips that I can give you that will help you to stop you procrastinating and be a lot more accountable to your business. And when you are, you will be a lot more successful too. So, without delay, let's get started. You've got your pen and paper ready. And in today's challenge, we're going to talk about preparing to sell. Now, preparing to sell is the first step of the sales process. And I could go into this an awful lot. You know, we're talking sales strategy, we're talking maybe marketing plans, we're talking all those sorts of things that you need to do basically before you actually go and meet a customer or pick up the phone to speak to a customer. But what I'd like to do is to share with you my top 7 tips, my kind of checklist that I have that will help you to prepare an awful lot more effectively. Right, so the first thing that you need to do in order to prepare a lot more effectively is get to know your products and your services. Now, this might sound incredibly obvious, but really it's you don't need to know them inside out in order to sell them really successfully. You just need to know what it is that they will do for your potential client. Okay, so what is the benefit of your products and services? You might need to know some more technical side of it because they're typical questions that your customer asks, but you don't need to be an expert. And I know you don't need to be an expert is because a few years ago I sold IT software to the police. I knew very little, I still don't about IT software. And I only knew about the police from my experience of being a member of the public. The thing is, what I learned was what my products and services would do for the police. And that is what I communicated to them. So focus your knowledge around that. Okay, second, research your customer. Now, this might sound incredibly obvious, but before you actually go out and you meet a particular customer or potentially go networking, just find out a little bit more about them. If you know their name, check them out on LinkedIn. If you know their company, have a look at the company's website. The more information that you can gain about your customer, the awful lot better it will be for the success of your sale. You know, you're more likely to get that rapport building a lot quicker, build that rapport a lot quicker than if you know very little about them. Right, the third thing is understand the competition. Now, notice how I said understand the competition. You don't need to know your competition inside out. It might help, but you need to understand where the competition sits as against what you sell and what you provide to your clients. Because then you know how to handle any objections that your clients might give you during the sales process. We've got a session on objections on another day. But just understand the competition and what their strengths are. Next, we have, it's about qualifying the opportunity. It's really important to qualify whether that potential client has actually got the money to spend with you. Have they got the time to buy from you? Have they got the power to buy from you, the right to buy from you? What you don't want to be doing is wasting too much time communicating with potential clients who really are not going to be able to buy from you at that point in time. They might be able to buy from you in the future, but maybe not at that point in time. And the quicker you can qualify that and understand whether they're going to buy from you or not in the next few hours, days or weeks, the lot easier it will be for you to sell to them in the future. And also by qualifying them out, if they're not going to buy from you straight away, you've got more time to concentrate on that group of people who you know will buy from you and are ready to buy from you. It's a really important point, and I will be touching on that again on another day. Right, the fifth thing that you need to do in advance of going out to see a customer is to set SMART objectives. Now, I go on about SMART objectives all the time. I live by SMART objectives. And normally if I fail at selling, it's because I haven't set a good SMART objective. You might know what SMART stands for, but I'll just go over it again for you. It stands for specific. So each goal, each objective that you take to a meeting must be really specific. It needs to be measurable. If you can't measure something, you don't know whether you've achieved it or not. And that comes on to the next one, which is your objective needs to be achievable. Fourthly, it needs to be realistic, which is the R. And then lastly, it needs to be timely, because you can't have an open-ended objective. It needs to have a set time to it. Now 6, again, this sounds like an obvious one, but before you go and see a customer, make sure you have all the tools that you need to deliver to them. So I'm talking pen and paper, maybe a presenter, maybe an iPad or a tablet to show your clients what it is you do and how fabulous it is. Maybe samples, for example. Just make sure that you have all the tools that you need when you speak to or meet a client. If you don't, you might have to have another meeting or another session with them to cover that off. And really that's a waste of time. So create a little checklist of what you need for your business. Now lastly, it's a bit of an obvious one, but not many people do it. Practice your pitch. If you are going out to a networking event and you know you're going to be standing up and doing a little pitch to everybody in the room, practice it in advance. What I like to do is I get my computer set up with the video camera on and I record it. And that helps twofold really, because it helps you to see what you look like. I'm one of these type of people. I wave my arms a lot, so I hold my hands together to stop doing that. So I find it annoying. But it also helps you to see what you look like and to hear whether what you're saying is the right thing, the right message that you want to get across. And that is the place where you can practice it, so that when you go out to the event or you go to meet a customer and you're doing your presentation, your pitch of what the fabulous services that you've got, you know it's going to be the best it will be. Okay, so just going to go over and recap on those seven points really that you need to be checking off in advance of going out to meet your potential clients. First of all, know your products and services, but not too much in depth. You need to really know what it is that they can do for your potential customer. Second, research your customer. Really important. Doesn't matter if it's only just 2 or 3 minutes of research, it will pay off. 3, understand the competition. It's great if you know them inside out. You don't need to. You just need to understand why your potential clients might be already buying off them. 4th, qualify the opportunity. Don't waste too much time speaking to people who aren't ready to buy. They might be in the future, but if they're not ready to buy within the time frame that you need them to, you're going to be wasting your time and theirs. So qualify them in or out. 5th, set SMART objectives. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and always timely. 6, make sure you've got the tools to deliver. Whether it's pen, paper, presentation, samples, whatever it is, make sure you've got them with you. And then finally, number 7, practice your pitch. Now I've purposely done this video all in one go, and I've made a few little mistakes, but I don't think it's too bad really. And the reason it's not too bad is because I've been delivering this kind of training for years. And it's what I've been doing for many years as well. So I've practiced it and delivered it so many times, it just comes out like, like you've just seen. So good luck. I'd like you now to go away and to start to implement some of those things that you're not already doing that I've just talked about. And I look forward to speaking to you on day 2 tomorrow. Good luck and happy selling. Bye bye.